Hello, hello, hello. It's Stephanie here, and welcome aboard episode 67 of the Rent to Rent Success podcast. And today we're talking about business building for freedom. And while we're usually talking about property business freedom, this time we're talking about how to get freedom and scale in a different kind of businesses. So, whatever property strategy you're following, you'll need to think of how to have it as a business that eventually will work without you. And today I'm delighted to welcome Jamie Kullman, host of the Mums Freedom Maker podcast. Jamie helps overworked coaches and service providers build a freedom-based business. I love how that sounds. It's a way to take control back of your life and also scale your business. So it's a different perspective that we're coming at things from today. And she's on a mission to free entrepreneurs from the depths of their businesses so that they can step into the freedom that many people start their businesses for, but most people never experience. So let's dive in. Welcome, Jamie, to the show.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to get started.
Great. Well, tell us a little bit about you, Jamie. I'd love to know a little bit more about your background.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually started my first business when I was 15 years old, and
Wow.
I was keeping automotive parts in circulation and out of the landfill. And when I first, stumbled upon this, I was actually having to hoist myself up. It's going to sound crazy, but in pretty much dumpster dive to get these things out. And I started listing them on eBay for around 99 cents each. Well, I just remember sitting there with my family on the couch, and these items started going up into the hundreds. And I'm talking, I had hundreds of them listed. So as a 15-year-old, starting to have all of this income coming my way, and I was just hooked, you guys, ever since then. And I realized, as the time kept progressing, how lucky I was to not only be able to impact in that way by doing better for the environment, but also that was coming back to me and showing me from a young age that you don't have to exchange time for money. And so as time progressed, here I am, and I'm now helping other mamas to find that freedom so that they don't have to exchange time for money and they can take back control of their lives.
That is an incredible story. And we were just saying, and you were telling me about your little one. Tell us a little bit, because she's very wee, or he. We didn't discuss.
Yeah, so he's actually around 3.5 months now, and he is just the cutest thing. They grow so fast. But and that was one of the main reasons that this ended up being like Mom's Freedom Maker podcast, because when I became pregnant, I started to realize that so many mamas wanted to stay home with their babies, but they had to choose. They had to choose either between their career or their babies and staying home. And so I realized how lucky I was to have this business running in the background and to have passive income, but I didn't realize that opportunity wasn't available to everybody else. And so I started opening up and sharing my story, and people were really resonating with that and asking me how I did it. And so that's what kind of opened up the coaching realm for me. And it's just exploded into this crazy thing where I feel like I'm finally utilizing like my area of expertise, and I'm passionate about what I'm doing now. And it's just so cool to get on the other side of the screen instead of kind of being like stuck behind the screen. Like that's exactly what I was doing before. So it's so much fun.
Yeah. And tell us, did you still got car parts? Or are you still doing the car? Oh, right. So you still got your car parts business as well as your Mom's Freedom.
Oh yeah. So it's still running. I have a few different places they ship out of, but I have people helping me with that now. So I'm no longer getting on the ground, getting my hands dirty as much, which is nice.
So, well, it sounds a little bit like me, because we have our property management business, and now we have a team who run that business, and I'm involved for a few hours a week, just meeting up with Nikki, my sister and business partner, and our key team member. And it sounds like, and then I have time to do the coaching and showing other people how to get started in this business, which sounds very similar. And you're helping mums to get started in business. So what I'd like to ask you Jamie, is what's the biggest mistake that you see people coming to you with, or the biggest struggle, should I say? Because when people come to you, what's their situation, or can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So now my business is it's expanded in the way of a lot of times now people do still find me when they're looking to start a business, but a lot of times now I speak more to the freedom aspect, right? So think of maybe a solo entrepreneur who's doing everything on their own inside of their business. I find that, and I'm sure you know, like a lot of people, they get started and they think they have to do everything inside of their business. And I was one of those people. After I made this shift to more helping people online, I started to work more and more and more and more and do all of these different things inside of my business. And I realized that this wasn't allowing me the freedom that I was speaking about anymore. And so it really is something that's common, right? We think we have to do everything. We think we always have to be the one showing up and putting in the work. And that's just simply not the case. And so I think the biggest mistake is that people think they have to do it all. And that's not true. And I think a lot of times that comes from people either maybe not learning and knowing how to delegate, maybe not trusting that others will treat their business the same way that they will. I think there's a lot of different angles there, but the big lesson to be learned from that is that you really don't have to do it on your own. And by you learning where your lane is and where you should really be showing up every single day, that's where you're going to have the biggest impact. In allowing others to help you on your journey is the best way to make sure that you can reach more people who need you.
That's brilliant. And what would you say, what would be the first tips, or what are the first tips that you give people to help them? You mentioned delegating better. What are the first tips you would give?
Yeah, definitely delegating. But I would say even before that is really sitting down and being honest with yourself about what you're passionate about and where you need to show up in your business every day. And such as yourself, right? We both have podcasts, but that doesn't mean that we need to edit them and that we need to even be the ones posting them on social media or scheduling them into our software, right? We need to be the face and we need to be the voice, but we don't need to do all this stuff in the background. And so it's really figuring out where you should be showing up every day to actually move the needle in your business.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic advice, and I certainly would do not edit mine. And just to let you all know, if you're listening and you're really interested in having this type of business or this approach to business for your business, that Jamie's got the Mums Freedom Maker podcast, and also you can check out mumsfreedommaker.com as well for more info about Jamie. So when people come to you, Jamie, and say, Jamie, help me, I need some freedom in my business, what are the first steps that you suggest that people go through?
Yeah, I would say after the staying in your lane, figuring out where you should be showing up is definitely a delegating, automating, and eliminating things. And that's huge. And on top of that, it's really utilizing, or not utilizing, but figuring out where you're showing up every single day and creating systems to automate things, right? A lot of times, or at least me in my past life here, I would just keep doing the same things over and over and over again every single day. That could have had a system behind them, but didn't.
Yes.
And so creating systems that help you will allow you to stay in your lane better and not have to hire an immense team underneath you, because there are systems now online that can help you.
Yeah. Are there any special ones that you tend to favor in your business?
Yeah. So right now I'm using Asana. Asana is great just to keep my mind somewhere that can be, I don't know, I'm a very visual person. So I need to see everything laid out in front of me and understand how all the pieces move together. So Asana is great for that. And then Dubsado. I mean, I put all my workflows in there, and with the click of a button, you can just have everything sent out automatically. So those are just a few little tools that help systematize my business. There are so many more that I use now, but those are two of my favorites.
Yeah, we use Asana actually as well. That's great for working with our virtual assistants and having the, as you said, the flow of tasks go through, especially on projects like, for example, the podcast, and taking the podcast from the idea to organizing the interviews like this, and then posting it out on social media, posting the event, publishing the podcast. There's so many different bits and pieces to it, but our VAs can just see right in there and follow along. So yeah, I totally agree with you on Asana, and we use it in our property business as well. So it's super helpful.
Very.
What's kind of, do you take people through a framework when they come and work with you? And I'd love to know a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So I have it broken down into 3 phases. So the first phase is setting your business up on a steady foundation that's ready to grow. A lot of times I've noticed that people, they just want to start the business, right? And so they're kind of thinking in the short term rather than the long term and what their goals really are, which for a lot of us, it is to have that freedom. And so it's really about getting clarity on what your goals really are, getting clarity on what your lane means so that we can free you from these tedious tasks as soon as possible. So that's kind of phase 1, is setting up the steady foundation. Phase 2 is really helping you create those systems and that automation within your business that also has the freedom aspect of getting you out of the trenches as soon as possible. And then phase 3 is kind of where the magic happens. This is where, well, and I'm sorry, let me go back a little bit. I forgot one aspect of phase 2. Phase 2, we begin creating your signature program, because a lot of times I work with coaches and consultants and service providers. So we help them develop a signature program that can be tested one-to-one. And I found that a lot of people in this industry, they stay with one-on-one coaching because I don't know, that's just where they feel comfortable. They like working with people directly, but that's not a scalable business model. So moving into phase 3, we take that one-to-one program and we turn it one-to-many using digital products and using different avenues that are going to help their message reach more people. So with all of these phases combined, you have a scalable business model that helps your message reach more people without it taking any more of your time. And so we make sure that all along this process, you're scaling for freedom, time, and financial.
Yeah, no, that sounds phenomenal. And how long does it take people really to go through the process as they come to you with their struggling business, a bit locked in, to get into the freedom that they're looking for in their business?
Yeah, so previously I was working with one-on-one clients just to perfect my program, right? And that's where I start everybody else. You have to test it one-on-one just to make sure that this actually gets people real results. But that's something that I was walking people through in 3 months. Usually we did like 1 call a week, so it ends up being 12 weeks long. But that's something that I've condensed, right? If people want to work directly with me, I do it in like 3-day intensive. So we really work together for 3 days just to kind of get them a game plan on what they can do further when we're not working together. And I, have extended support and stuff like that to guide them on this journey. And I'm actually working on something really exciting. I'm working on turning that program into a digital course of my own that's going to remove all the fluff. I'm all about just like simple is better, straight to the point. I know that these people, like everybody online right now, we don't really have a lot of time. And so it's like taking a course, I don't want 20 modules to have to go through. So I'm trying to make this as simple as possible to get people results that they want.
Yeah, no, that sounds phenomenal. I love 3 months is just, I think 90 days is such the perfect time. The framework that we take people through as well to in Rent to Rent Kickstarter is also 3 months with weekly support, weekly live support, but also daily support within a Facebook group. And it really helps people get that transformation that they're looking for. But having the idea that you can also do it in 3 days is really appealing for some people as well. And then they just implement it afterwards with support from you. That's incredible. So I just wonder, are there aspects, I'm sure there are, that I haven't asked you about or drawn out today that you would really love to share with our listeners today?
Yeah, I guess just going back to like the digital product realm of things. I know you love chatting about passive income, and right now that industry, right? The e-learning industry, the knowledge industry online. Everybody is online right now. Everybody is turning to the internet as a resource to learn the things that they want to learn. They're not going back to college. They're not trying to get a degree for things. And so by figuring out a program that teaches people your unique expertise, right? All you need is your expertise. All you need is a laptop. You figure out your signature program, turn it into something that's digital, and create steps in a customer journey that actually pulls people through this automatically and bring you passive income, right? That's the end goal with this business model, is that when everything is built, when your program has turned digital, you can pull yourself completely out of the business and be chilling on the beach in Maui and checking your phone and receiving sales. And so that's kind of the aim with all of this, is just to really have that passive income lifestyle, but without losing the impact that you have on other people, and without being able to, share your message with the world. I found I absolutely loved when I did physical products, but I lost that one-on-one connection with people. And so this is really just a way to share your superpower with the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's so important. What you were saying there is you get to have this incredible impact on people in the transformations that you give them. And the work that you do, it helps people to be able to be at home with their families. And that's so important. And especially at the moment, for some people, it's not actually a choice. They've lost their job, and they need to be able to work from home flexibly with their families, but also to be able to support their families at the same time. So it's really important work. And as we draw it to a close today, Jamie, is there anything that you would like to share to inspire people to get started?
Absolutely. I would just say that if you guys have the dream to stay home, or you have the dream to travel the world, or just hang out with your family because you can, or take a vacation tomorrow because you can, don't let anything stand in your way. It's going to be hard as an entrepreneur. You have to learn to start climbing mountains and learn to love it. But on the other side of that is your next opportunity. It's your freedom. It's you taking back absolute control of your life. So all I've got to say to you is just start, no matter what that means for you. Even if it's messy action, that beats no action. So just get started and follow your path.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Jamie, for joining us today. And thank you also for watching and for listening. It's been great to have you with us. And as always, believe bigger, be bolder, be a game changer. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.